It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. Your emails at randywangradio@gmail.com. Search for the KABC News Blitz wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe to my Substack at randywangradio.substack.com so you can see today's edition of the California Report. And with that, let's get into today's California Report, which starts with the potential laying off of hundreds of employees at the nation's second largest school district, LAUSD. And let's just say the unions are pretty unhappy about it. Not just the UTLAs, but also the SEIUs. And there is already a lot of rumblings that a strike is coming soon to LAUSD. But I don't know necessarily what the district is supposed to do. I mean, we're seeing this up and down the state of California. If you have declining enrollment, so you have less money coming in, and all the unions keep negotiating for more and more lucrative contracts, where are you supposed to get more money? Is the idea, well, just tell the state they need to give us more money? We need to raise more taxes. But right now, it looks like LAUSD made such lucrative deals with the teachers union back in 2022 when they got a 22% raise that now they're having to think about laying off hundreds of other classified staff. No teachers are on the chopping block, although they do have a hiring freeze and the attrition that they already see, you're going to start seeing fewer and fewer teachers at LAUSD. But what exactly are you supposed to do when you're at declining enrollment? Now, what'll probably happen is the same thing that happened in San Francisco, where the teachers went on strike. It lasted for about a week. They ended up getting everything they wanted, and the district dipped into their reserves, which is one-time money, which means that next time around, they don't have anything. So we're going to continue to see these school districts run out of money by making deals they cannot possibly keep going. That's why you're seeing in Sacramento, a school district in Sacramento City Unified, they are going to get to a point where now they're so broke that they might get taken over by the state. And is that what we want to happen? Now, another story that seems to still be swirling in Los Angeles is prominent elected leaders, which now include Karen Bass, calling for Casey Wasserman to step down from the LA 2028 Olympics board. Now, this is all connected to the fact that his name has popped up in the Epstein files in an creepy email that he sent to Ghislaine Maxwell 20 years ago, before anyone was accused of anything, but he was married at the time. So there's a lot of people that don't want anything close to this to happen, but the board looked into it and they said, nah, we're keeping him. And one of the reasons for that, according to NBC4's Colin Nolan, is that, well, without this guy and his connections with the private investment and the advertising, it's very possible that at this stage, if we replace him with somebody else, we might get to a point where the Olympics, even before they start, are losing money. And if these Olympics lose money, guess who gets foot with the bill? That's right, the city of Los Angeles. Hopefully the whole county, because the games are county-wide. Now, there has been some horrific weather and crazy rain going on in Southern California this last week. And it got so bad in Santa Monica that manhole covers were popping off from all of the water pressure. So there's only one reporter that looks at that and says, oh, we got to go see this. And of course, it's Matthew Seedorf at Fox 11. So there's a story you can check out on there. And something that's way overdue, but it might be too little too late, is the LA City Council once again putting forth proposals to try to make it easier to film in Los Angeles, because production is gone to a whole lot of different places besides Los Angeles, and getting it to come back is proving very, very difficult. You know, I'm broadcasting this week from Santa Fe, New Mexico, and Santa Fe has greatly increased their production. New Mexico has very, very lucrative tax incentives, and they're building movie studios out here. Look, LA now has to compete with not just other states and other cities, they're competing with the entire world. So at the very least, I mean, there's only so much that can be done on a local level when it comes to taxes. But when it comes to the permit fees and the pain in the ass restrictions that we put on filming, where we want filming to happen, have to make it as easy as possible to stay competitive, or it's just Hollywood is going to be scattershot. There really isn't going to be what was. It's just going to go wherever the productions are. And the way this business works is the productions go to wherever you get the best tax incentives, because ultimately it's about making the budget. Now, a really bizarre story in Southern California has to do with the mayor of Arcadia. And Arcadia is one of those 88 cities in LA County that really doesn't get a lot of coverage. If you don't even know where Arcadia is, it's where Santa Anita is, so near Pasadena. Well, apparently, the mayor of Arcadia was previously engaged to a now convicted Chinese spy. And he was not only her fiance, but he was her campaign manager, helped her get elected to office as mayor of Arcadia. And now that the story is out that this guy was a spy, spying on the United States for the Chinese government, including tracking the whereabouts of the president of Taiwan when they were in the state of California, I guess I understand why the mayor of Arcadia doesn't want to answer any questions about this, but boy, is that one weird. Now, let's move on to the Bay Area. In San Francisco, there is a new plan afoot. Daniel Lurie has signed legislation for a new way to arrest people in the open-air drug market. We're talking about the drug users. And what we're going to do is send them to what's called the Reset Center, because, of course, everything in local politics needs an acronym. But this is almost like a drunk tank, except you're on fentanyl or meth. And we take you there, start you in the beginning processes of treatment, so we don't even go through the whole jail process. We go straight to treatment unless you refuse, then I guess you go to jail. Now, this is just a test program. I think there's only 25 beds, but at least if this allows SFPD and the San Francisco sheriffs to start arresting the drug users, that's something, because I don't understand why we cannot just do that. If we can say doing fentanyl on the street is unacceptable, I don't care how compassionate we are, allowing someone to do that is killing them. So yes, arrest them, force them into treatment. I don't understand why we make this so difficult. Of course, San Francisco is improving modestly with things like that, but they're also still funding on the other end of it, harm reduction, passing out paraphernalia. Even when Lurie says that they're not, they still are funding quite a few programs that are doing stuff like that. Now, do you remember earlier last year when there was this bizarre gas explosion in a neighborhood in Northern California? And PG&E told regulators and told the oversight boards that, hey, we tried to warn every single person that there was a gas leak and an explosion was imminent. And because it's PG&E, you knew they were full of crap, because there are now videos of the houses that were impacted by this explosion, and you see the PG&E employees and you see the work trucks, and you don't see anybody warning the neighbors that there's a gas leak. And, I forgot to add the video version of this story. So there's a really, really sweet story in the Bay Area in San Jose. And this one comes from KPIX. But, one of the challenges that our entire society is going to be facing over the next few decades is that we're going to have a massive shortage of home health care workers, healthcare workers, daycare workers. There are going to be so many more people retiring and getting to old age than are people that are willing to do those jobs to care for them. And this is especially true when you're talking about adult daycare, like, for instance, places where people with dementia go. Like, what exactly do you do there? Well, here's what you do. There is an adult daycare center for people with light to medium dementia where they are now being entertained all day long by an AI-powered robot. And this robot can keep you company. It can tell you jokes. It can pretty much do so many of the things that are of the wellness part of taking care of people outside of the more important duties, like making sure that these people are clean and are getting their food and their medicine. But even though these robots cost $80,000, like that's $80,000 and it probably lasts a really long time. So expect to see more of this. But yeah, you got to check out this story of the AI-powered robot that is helping out a San Jose adult daycare center take care of and entertain the residents, including trivia. You know what? If I ever end up in an old folks' home and there's a trivia robot, I think I'm going to be all set. Now, in Sacramento, one of the stories that we've been covering for a long time is the failures of NextGen 911, a project that's been talked about since the Schwarzenegger days, but they really started putting funding behind it when Gavin Newsom took over, because I'm sure you remember when Gavin Newsom became governor, he ran on the platform of modernizing government, modernizing computer systems. He even wrote a book about it called Citizenville. And one of the things that needed upgrading was our 911 system, which is very antiquated. And you have local 911 departments like Los Angeles or Oakland that are constantly below the state standard, but nothing seems to happen about that. But we have been spending hundreds of millions of dollars of developing this NextGen 911. Everywhere that they've tried to roll it out, it has not worked, and they've had to restart the whole program over and over again. So now this project is supposed to not be complete until 2030. In the meantime, we're still paying for the existing 911 system. So they've done the math and they want to do some more audits, at least the Republicans in the Assembly, because we have spent $847 million on this since 2019, and we really don't have a lot to show for it. And I hate seeing stories like this, but you're going to be seeing more of them when the stories in the Bay Area, in Sacramento and Solano County, of the closures of refineries. You're going to see more layoffs, and that affects everything, including government jobs. Solano County is getting hit where there are big layoffs at big companies. A Budweiser plant is closing up there. And these are areas where there really aren't a whole lot of jobs unless you want to really venture out. Although I guess they could always take up the tech bros on what they want to do to Suisun City and turn that into Techopolis, where there's going to be what they say is like this mecca for tech bros with thousands and thousands of jobs if they just convert a bunch of farmland. And maybe we need to do that. When's the last time we had a brand new city? And bizarre story, where we find out that a few weeks ago, the CEO of the high-speed rail, Ian Chowdhury, the one they brought in from Europe to get this project right on track, apologies for the pun, he was arrested along with his fiancée in a domestic violence incident that apparently involved his daughter. And everyone's being really tight-lipped about what happened here, I guess because of minors involved. But nobody has been charged, but we now find out that there's an arrest, and now Ian Chowdhury is taking a leave of absence. I'm sure a paid leave of absence. And I thought this story was interesting. It's out of San Diego, but affects the entire state, where California is looking to, if, the lobbyists for the utility companies allow them, work on plans and bills that would make it easier to buy different kinds of solar panels. So, for instance, if you wanted to reduce your energy bill and you wanted to put solar panels around your balcony, if you live in an apartment because you don't have a roof, there are actually devices that you can now plug in. And this technology is being expanded in places like Germany. But, the solar thing has always been so weird because California was a leader in this for so long until the monopolies, PG&E, SoCal Edison, San Diego Gas and Electric, said, hey, we're not making enough money from this because we're here for profit, and we need you to renege on the deals that you made with people that adopted rooftop solar. But currently, these things are just so expensive. If you don't make it easy for people to make back there's a lot of people that are not going to do it. Now, when we come back in the California Report, we've got quite a few updates today on the governor's race. If you want to read the California Report, you can do so. I have links to every single story. I curate this every single day. This is part of my show prep, and now I have a way to share it with you. So check out the videos. If you want to, share them with your friends on your social media feed. These are the stories that are really important in California. RandyWangRadio.substack.com. That's RandyWangRadio.substack.com. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. We're going through today's California Report. You can read along and share all the stories at randywangradio.substack.com. A new poll was released today in the California governor's race, and it shows a slight surge for Steve Hilton, the Republican candidate, who's at 17%. Eric Swalwell behind him around 14%. Chad Bianco behind him around 13%. So a lot of these candidates are still within the margin of error of each other. Katie Porter is down to single digits. Matt Mahan, this is the first poll he's been introduced in, and he's starting around 3.5%. And then some of the other candidates that have been in this thing for a really, really, really long time. I don't think it's going well for Becerra.
Scrub it.
Or Antonio.
No, peanut.
But it's interesting. I follow Julie Watts, the investigative reporter from CBS Sacramento, you know, the one that's responsible for the Katie Porter interview.
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you, and I don't want this all on camera.
She just tweeted out, and I retweeted it on my social media, that she has seen in the last 24 hours 4 different polls that have 4 very, very, very different results. And I think she wants to get into just how polling does work in 2026, because who is responding to these surveys? One, who has a landline anymore? Also, is it the people responding via text? Because I got to imagine 99.9% of people, including myself, when you get a text that says, hey, would you like to participate in a survey? I say stop. Now, Eric Swalwell, I know that he gets a lot of flack for a lot of things, and well-deservedly so. But one thing that I like about Eric Swalwell is that he openly campaigned for the recall of Pamela Price.
Bippin is back.
Pamela Price, the now recalled former Alameda County District Attorney, he used to work in that office. And so there's a little tension between them. She started making all kinds of accusations about him. But what do you know? Our buddy Seneca Scott posted this video, and you could see it on the California Report. Eric Swalwell was going to the Alameda County Central Democratic Committee to, I guess, get their endorsement. Well, one of their members is Pamela Price, and Pamela Price started asking all kinds of uncomfortable questions about why, oh, why would he support the recall that this committee was against? And he straight up says, well, how much of the county voted to recall you? 67%? Okay, I guess I was right.
Quite frankly.
But Seneca put together the video with that clip, and he dressed up Pamela Price as a Muppet. So yeah, you got to watch that. Matt Mahan is doing more interviews. He was down in Southern California last week. He went on NBC Bay Area to talk about getting to know Southern California and the challenges. He most recently went to Skid Row. I really like Matt Mahan. I don't know if his lane has enough support, but the campaign's just starting. He is getting a lot of cash, so we'll see what happens there. And Katie Porter went down to the Tijuana River Valley because there is a toxic waste nightmare going on down there that most elected officials are ignoring.
You can smell it right here.
And she went down there to smell it. And you know what? If she wants to do something about that, she should, including calling out our current governor, who's not doing a damn thing about it. Now, at the top of the show, I mentioned that the LAUSD is looking like it might go towards a strike because of these potential layoffs. Cecily Mayart Cruz, the one that kept the kids locked in home for over 2 years.
Our learning spaces are special places.
She had a lot of words against Carvalho and the whole board at the LAUSD meeting. I put up the full meeting on California Report, but I have it fast forwarded to when Cecily speaks. So if that's your thing, you can listen to it.
And I want you to be all the way pissed off.
And finally, in the California Crime Blotter, a couple was attacked over the weekend in San Jose when someone came up to him and said, hey, are you in a gang? And he said no, and apparently that was enough. Look, there's senseless violence everywhere, and I'm not a fan of it. That's today's California Report. You can subscribe for free. It goes to your inbox, randywangradio.substack.com. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Cock Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. Your emails at randywangradio@gmail.com. Search for the KABC News Blitz wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure to subscribe to my Substack, The California Report, my curated list of all the stories that matter up and down the state of California from our local news channels. Check it out, randywangradio.substack.com. We are just a few months away from the June primary, so we're going to try to interview as many candidates as we can for all the offices so you are as informed as you can be as to who exactly it is that is running for things like Assembly. Well, our next guest is running for California Assembly District 42. You can go to his website, tednordblum.com. Ted Nordblum, welcome to the News Blitz.
Hey, thanks, Randy. Pleasure to be here.
Let's start off with just a reminder. Where is Assembly District 42? What is the area you're looking to represent?
Okay, so District 42 goes from Simi Valley to Malibu and parts of Camarillo, all the way down the 101 corridor through like Westlake Agora Hills, Oak Park, Calabasas, all of Malibu, Palisades, Beverly Hills, and parts of Bel Air. So it's like a big giant boot. Yeah, it's a big district, about 500,000 people in that district.
All right, well, without further ado, Ted, introduce yourself to the audience. Tell us who you are and why you are running for this office.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. My name is Ted Nordblum. I am a small business owner. I lived in the Canal Valley for, since 1967. So I know the area. I know Malibu, Palisades. I grew up around this whole area. I'm running because I kind of got tired of things back in 2022. Just to give you a little background on me. I went to a GOP committee meeting and asked to run. And they said at the time nobody was running for state assembly. Why don't you run? I said, look, I've never ran a race before. I'm a small business owner. But I got my feet wet. I jumped in the race, and then I ended up running against another Republican. She beat me, and then I supported her. And then in 24, last election, I was the Republican nominee, and I got the most votes of any Republican candidate ever in my district, which was over like 124,000 votes. And I did 4 points better than Trump. So this time around, it's an open seat. The other assemblywoman has termed out, and now I'm going against another Republican and 2 Democrats. But this is a targeted seat in California. I lost, by less than 10 points, which is, pretty good for Republican candidates in this district. It's a D plus 11. So I just feel like this is our opportunity to flip this seat red. I've been working really hard for the last 4 years, building my name, getting out there and talking to people, knowing all the issues. And I'm the only America First grassroots candidate that's running in this race right now.
Well, I got to imagine one of the biggest issues that's facing your district is still the slow recovery from the devastating fires that took out major parts of the Palisades and Malibu. Now, one of the biggest issues when it comes to rebuilding, even if we sped up the permitting process as fast as possible, is residents not being able to get their claims paid by their insurance companies. If you were in the assembly, what would you do to either change your insurance laws or hold the insurance companies accountable to be paying their end of the contract?
Great question. I would hold them accountable. They need to pay this out, and we need to streamline and get rid of all the red tape as far as the bureaucrats and the environmentalists here in California. They delay as long as they can to get the things that they want. Right now, I think California, I think Gavin Newsom wants to pass a bill, or they might be passing this bill, where they're going to buy up a lot of the land and use it for low-income housing, and they're going to destroy the Palisades in Malibu. I'd like to keep it as a historical landmark where they can't touch it. We don't need to put more people in those areas and make it more densely populated, because if there's ever another fire, we're going to have a lot more problems than what we have right now. I want to ensure that the Palisades and Malibu stay the way they are. I want to work on filling that water reservoir that they still haven't done. And we need to start doing controlled burns and forest management like we used to do back in the days. And we used to have out in this area, we used to have sheep that would eat on the hillsides, and they'd eat all the all the brush and everything up too. We don't do that anymore. We've had a complete failure by Gavin Newsom and our Democratic legislature on these issues, and this fire was preventable. I know Spencer Pratt's out there running for mayor, and I've been trying to get a hold of him, and I totally support him in what he's doing. I think he's doing a great job of exposing all this, but there's a lot more we can do with the legislature. And right now they're just sitting on their hands. They're not doing anything. They don't care about the Palisades. They have a vision, I believe, to turn this into their 15-minute smart city. And I want to stop it. I want to preserve it and see if we can keep it the way it is.
Well, there you go on that. Now, of course, one of the most important issues for any public official is public safety. It's on top of mind for everybody. In that 2024 election, the one where you got more votes than any Republican candidate in that district, Californians overwhelmingly sent a message to the legislature in supporting Proposition 36, which strengthened some of the penalties that were lessened with Prop 47 when it comes to things like drug use, when it comes to things like retail theft. So that was passed overwhelmingly, but the legislature has not funded it properly. And you're getting to a situation where even if you have a district attorney like Nathan Hochman in Los Angeles looking to charge a treatment mandated felony, we have no funding for said treatment. So now they're just going into jail. If you make it to the assembly, will you be pushing to get Prop 36 fully funded?
Absolutely. We need to. Gavin Newsom is the one that shut that down and said we didn't have the money to fund Prop 36, but he had enough money to fund Prop 50 to redistrict the state. So it's like they pick and choose, cherry pick what they want to fund and what they don't want to fund. You have to understand, back in 2011, our state budget was $98 billion. Right now it's over $450 billion. It's like $349 billion, but we have about $70 billion over budget right now for this fiscal year. So we have major spending problems and entitlements that were in all these NGOs and these private, these nonprofits that are just stealing our money, our taxpayer money. We should have, the road should be fixed. We should be fixing the schools. We should be working on the homeless problems now and the illegal aliens. I'm tired of all the entitlements. I would like to get rid of all that, and we've got to start putting criminals in jail and start making them accountable. And we have, like, just in Ventura County, I don't know if you know this, but we had 33 kidnappings from June to December of last year.
33 kidnappings.
Yeah, kidnappings. So we do have high crime, and there's other issues going on too that I want to work on as well. We need to make criminals. I mean, I ran on that last time. Make crime legal again, and we can do that. It's things here, Kevin, are so easy to fix if they would just get the hell out of the way and let us do what we need to do. They've been playing these games for decades now. They've had a supermajority for 16 years. They've had a majority for 33 years. So we need to fix this. And I hope with the voter ID initiatives that are coming up in November, I think we got enough signatures and we can get a voter ID. This state will flip red in 2 cycles, I believe.
We're speaking with Ted Nordblum. He is running for California Assembly in District 42. Now, if you ask your average California voter, what are the issues that they think about every single day? I would imagine most of them, even higher than maybe public safety, is affordability. This state is so incredibly expensive to live in. And even though the Assembly and the State Senate last year said, this is the year we're tackling affordability, and this year they said, this is the year we're tackling affordability, it's only getting less and less affordable to live in California. What can the legislature do to make people's lives a little easier when it comes to the cost of living in California?
Well, first of all, we could start cutting back on gas taxes. They raise it every 6 months on us, the legislature. We gave away that right. The voters did. I don't think the voters understood what they did at the time. But also now they just passed the legislation to put a mileage tax on all of us, all the gas driving cars. That can cost $1,200 to $4,200 per car per year. We just were overtaxed. So these are things you can cut back on, because if fuel prices are higher, it costs more to transport food. Food's more expensive and rent's more expensive. Everything, as you know, we have the highest taxes. We have the highest property taxes. We have the highest homeowners insurance in the country. These things they're just trying to destroy the middle class. We are a socialist, Marxist, communist state. We have been for a while now. And they're talking about a wealth tax where you have all your, like Mark Zuckerberg, all these people are leaving the state. They tried that in France, and all the billionaires left, and the country imploded. So California is trying to just do the same thing. This is an agenda by the Democratic Party, and they want to destroy the middle class. They want homelessness. They want illegal aliens here to keep them in power, and it's just a big, giant Ponzi scheme. So I want to go to Sacramento. a couple of things I want to do. Repeal the gas mileage tax, get rid of that, cut back on the gas tax. Why are we twice the national average here in California when everybody else is under $2 a gallon? And we've just lost all the refineries. Chevron's left, Phillips 66 left, and now Valero's leaving this April. So we had 17% of the gas production here, energy in California, which is now going to be gone. So we will be importing probably 100% of our gasoline into California, and things will continue to go up as gas and fuel goes up, food goes up, everything else goes up. And right now, I think I just saw something. California leaves the state every 2 minutes. We lose somebody. So we have still a mass exodus of people leaving the state too. So these are things we can start to do right away. And I think we can get accomplished in 6 months.
All right, I'm going to give you 60 seconds on the clock. Make your pitch to voters. Why should residents in Assembly District 42 put you in Sacramento? Go.
Well, I've seen everything here in California for years go down. Nothing's gotten better. We have the same politicians, and we end up getting the same results. You cannot keep voting for the same thing over and over and over. Stop voting for the Democrats. Stop. They don't care about you. They never have, and they're going to continue the same policies. I'm an America First conservative, fiscal responsible conservative, by the way. I've run a business for 20-something years, and I know what it takes to manage people and get things done. I'm a problem solver. I am the best candidate for this district. I am a targeted seat, and we have the best chance to flip this. I think we're probably one of the top 3 seats in the state right now. So I just need your help and your support. We can fix California, and it's just common sense leadership we need, and I can bring that to California and to my district and to everybody else.
The website is tednorblum.com, tednorblum.com, running for Assembly District 42. Thank you so much for coming on the show today, and good luck in June.
Thank you, Randy, so much. I appreciate your time, and thank you all for everybody out there. Get out and vote. Don't forget to vote. We need it.
That is a very important sentiment. No matter what you think, you gots to vote. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. If you or you know somebody that is running for office in the state of California, local city councils, assembly, state senate, and you want to have a conversation about that election, get us your info, randywangradio@gmail.com. That's randywangradio@gmail.com, and we'll get you scheduled on the News Blitz. Hey, look at this, everyone. 790 KABC welcomes Breaking Benjamin to the Honda Center on October 3rd. Tickets are on sale Friday at Ticketmaster.com, but right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-790-5222 gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by Live Nation. Good luck dialing. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's Wednesday, so let's talk a little wine on this Wine Wednesday. In fact, I think it is National Drink Wine Day. I don't know who invented that, but I saw on Fiddlehead's Instagram that it's National Drink Wine Day, so pop open a Pinot. Speaking of Pinot, a couple days ago, we had one of the favorite meals that's in our repertoire. It's something that my wife's family's been doing forever and ever and ever, and that is tuna niçoise. Now, we get great tuna. I source it from my buddy at Nordic Catch, and they send me a fresh slab of ahi or yellowfin tuna every single week. And I love this salad. It is perfect no matter what the weather is because it can be warm if you do it with brown rice. If it's really hot out and you don't want rice, you can do it over greens. But let me give you some of the basics here. So you've got either rice, potatoes, or greens. Now, if you don't really care and you really aren't looking out for your weight too much, use brown rice. It'll soak up all the dressing. But then you've got parboiled green beans, like the French ones. You've got capers, tomatoes, hard-boiled eggs, and onion, and feta cheese. And it's important that you get the feta that is in the little container that has the brine. Like Trader Joe's has a great one. And the reason is because you want to use a little bit of that feta brine in your dressing, which includes a little sherry vinegar, some Dijon mustard. It adds the right amount of saltiness to it. And then, I usually get a lot of help with a lot of the chopping. Chopping's not my strong suit. But where I excel, the thing that I'm really great at is searing the tuna. Now, when it comes to searing tuna, first thing that is important is to take your, 12 ounce, whatever slab of yellowfin tuna and try to slice it into even logs, so you have like 3, maybe 4, usually 3 rectangles. Then you're going to pat them dry. This is something that, it took me a long time to realize. Don't be oiling your fish. Oil the pan, don't oil the fish, because you want to get that nice char. So then salt and pepper the tuna logs generously. Then I take my cast iron pan. I have a Lodge cast iron. It is my baby. I turn it onto high heat, not the highest heat. Like out of a 10, I go an 8, but I wait until that thing is hot enough that after I oil it with a high heat oil, I really like Graza. And if you're trying to be healthy, the Graza spray will oil that pan and you'll use way less of it. But you wait till it is smoking. And then you're going to put your logs onto the cast iron for 45 seconds. Take your tongs, rotate. 45 seconds. Take your tongs, rotate. Take your tongs, rotate. So 3 minutes, you'll get a sear on all 4 sides. Take them off to the side. Let them rest for a minute or two. And then once they're not too hot, you slice them into even little pieces. And they're just, if you did it right, you're going to have just a beautiful dark red center, but it's going to be seared on all sides. If you went too long, it's going to be pink, but it's still fine. It's tuna. It's going to be great regardless. So then you get to assemble your salad. You can kind of set up a buffet line, and sometimes we'll do that, and because some people might want more capers. Some people might think capers are completely unnecessary. But you have all of your veggies. You put it over brown rice or potatoes. Red potatoes would be great, or even on greens. It's healthier, and I like it that way as well. Pour on your dressing, and you pair with that a nice Pinot Noir. Now, it's a French salad. Sure, you could do a French Pinot, a Burgundy, but I love my California Pinots. For when we did this, we made enough so we had some for a friend of ours. So we were drinking for 3. So we opened a Foxen John Sebastiano Magnum Pinot Noir. So that's like 2 bottles worth. It was from 2017, but Magnums age a heck of a lot slower. It was so delicious, and Pinot pairs so perfectly. The fruit on it, it doesn't overpower, it doesn't take over the tuna, it complements the tuna. So that's a classic. I'm sure that video is going to show up on my social media. I'm posting all kinds of cooking videos on there. Check it out. YouTube at Randy Wang Radio, Instagram at Randy Wang Radio. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC.